You just got the call, the email, the "we're letting you go," and your stomach drops straight through the floor. Now your mortgage, your car note, your credit cards are all sitting there like a clock ticking down, and you have maybe 30 days before things get ugly. Here's the thing, nobody tells you in that moment panic is the most expensive thing you can buy. The first 48 hours after a job loss are the most financially dangerous of your entire adult life. Not because of the money, but because of the decisions you'll make while your brain is basically on fire. So let's slow this down together, because the difference between a temporary setback and a full financial collapse is almost always what you do in week 1. We're not talking about vibes here, we're talking about a literal action plan that has worked for real people staring at real due dates. The very first move, and I mean before you update your resume or even tell your family, is to open every single bill and write down the exact dollar amount and due date for each one. You cannot fight a war you haven't mapped. Most people in financial crisis are actually fighting a number smaller than they imagined once they sit down and face it. Next, you call every creditor, every single one, and you use 4 magic words. Hardship program, please. Lenders, credit card companies, even utility providers have programs specifically designed for income disruption, and they literally don't advertise them because they'd rather you just keep paying the penalty rate. Now, here's where people make the big mistake. They pull from retirement accounts first. And that is like cutting off your arm to stop a paper cut. Early withdrawal penalties plus taxes can eat up to 40% of that money, which means you're borrowing from your future self at the worst possible interest rate imaginable. File for unemployment the same day you lose the job, not next week, not after you see how job searching goes. Every day you wait is money you're leaving on the table. And in most states, there's already a waiting period built in before your first check arrives. Look, there's a historical truth here that actually gives you permission to breathe. Nearly every financial recovery story runs through a season of forced minimalism that ended up reshaping someone's entire relationship with money for the better. The irony is that the people who built real wealth often point to a job loss as the moment they stop sleepwalking through their finances. The misconception that ruins people in this situation is the belief that maintaining appearances is more important than maintaining solvency. Your credit score is not your character, it is a number. And numbers can be rebuilt, but debt spirals are a much longer road back. Here's your practical stack, ranked by urgency. Housing first, utilities second, food third, transportation fourth, and everything else is negotiable. Credit card minimums, gym memberships, subscriptions, those are not emergencies, and any creditor who tells you otherwise is selling you something. The psychological game here is real. You will feel the urge to use a credit card to bridge the gap and keep your lifestyle intact, and that urge is the enemy. Discipline right now isn't about being a hero. It's about not making a 30-day problem into a 3-year problem. Position size matters in investing, and it matters in crisis management too, meaning don't blow all your emergency resources in week 1 trying to solve every problem at once. Triage, sequence, and move methodically, because calm process beats panicked conviction every single time. At the end of this, whether you land a new job in 3 weeks or 3 months, you will know more about your actual financial picture than 90% of employed people in this country. That knowledge, as uncomfortable as it came, is a genuine asset. And that's not a silver lining, that's just true. And if we're being honest, the people who come out of this strongest are the ones who got curious instead of catastrophic, who treated the crisis like a system to reverse engineer rather than a verdict on their worth. You are not your job title, and this moment does not define the rest of your financial life. If you want help navigating what comes next, whether that's real estate investing to build income streams, home contracting work, or finding lenders who actually work with your situation, check out our links in the description below.